I start, thanks to the moms who made this ceremony happen. Pretty awesome. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't preparing for this right after I got Eagle Scout, but this is still huge. My heart's racing. It's a huge shock to me. As I stand here now, I know that when I see you guys and when we all stood up on stage, all the Eagle Scouts, that people were like, yeah, I've been dreaming about this ever since I was a Cub Scout. But I know it's like really cliche, but I really did. Ever since I first joined, I was like, I'm doing this, determined. Even though that a lot of the time I was sitting on my couch eating Doritos and Cheetos, and my dad would be like, you got 3 merit badges, you can do it. I'm like, yeah, I'll just do it next week. When I wrote this speech, I practiced giving it to my stuffed animals, just so I could feel like it would be real. The tiger cub was like the real, you know, the authority figure in that. So, right now, it's just all becoming really real to me at the moment. Since I became a Bobcat in the 3rd grade, I knew that scouting was the right plan for me. I loved camping, and I loved hanging out with you guys as my friends. My favorite badge I ever got was the canoeing badge, and I got it during Camp Atari. What happened was, we were all canoeing, and I'm in my own canoe because I'm 3 times bigger than everyone. So their canoe flips over, capsizes, and one boy starts spazzing out, starts crying, and starts trying to swim to shore. So I hop out of my canoe, flip theirs over, throw all of them back in. All their paddles sunk to the bottom, so I tied their canoe to mine, and then I paddled their canoe with all 3 boys in it, and myself with 1 paddle, all the way back to shore. It was during that moment that I realized that scouting is much more than just a thing you do on Monday nights. That scouting is something in your heart. Traveling to Philmont was the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. I'm going to say that right now. I loved the high adventure and everything that happened on that trip. From waking up at 3 in the morning because a spider is about to hit my face, and Eric's just staring at me like it's just a tiny spider. And people from 3 campsites over can hear me going, for me and Eric talking about the night terrors that we might have if we slept inside the same tent. And from me forgetting the tent poles of Tony's tent, so we had to use our Camp Rangers tent. On the 2nd day at Philmont, I met a goat named Fiona. That goat was the pinnacle of Philmont. Better than any view I've ever seen, for she was the only view I could ever see. For all of you that do not know, when I was at Philmont, I never milked a goat in my entire life. Fiona was my first. So much, in fact, that I love this goat, I wrote poems about her during this trip. I shudder for thy udder, I bleach for thy teeth, and I gaze for thy graze. For the 12 days, we actually did not know what to talk about because we kind of got everything out of the way the first day. So we just kind of talked about Fiona for the remaining 11 days. When we were doing axe throwing, it would be on 1 Fiona, 2 Fiona, 3 Fiona, and we'd throw the axe. It was a very I can't put it into words how Philmont was to me. I very much thank my dad for letting me go on that. For my project, I knew working on it was the hardest part, but I stayed on it. I knew blazing trails at Pocahontas would be fun and a great project. None of my complaints were for my coworkers that helped me, but because of everyone was important. From the young men who showed up, the 3 people that showed up, to my dad who stayed at the campsite, keeping the hot dogs very warm. I appreciate them all. I remember the very first time I met Eric. I saw him, but I did not know his name. I knew he was called Mini Hercules. So I go up to him and say, why do they call you Mini Hercules? And he just stares at me. He's about half my height, and he goes, I'm strong. And I go, Well, like, I'm looking at him, I'm like, you know, way broader, taller. I'm like, you can't be that strong. He looks at me, grabs me by my leg, and flips me on my back in 2 seconds. Before I even have time to say what, he says, I'm strong. First time I met Jeff, we were all sitting around the campfire, and we were on a giant gray tub of cooking supplies. And then I said, can I sit here? And he said, yeah, I'm not that big of a jerk. And he moves over just enough so I can sit down, and then the box breaks. There's a lot more memories I have of everyone, from when we would play with Doritos, and from when the one camp out where me and Tony, I'm just going to cut that out. Pretty sure he remembers that enough. I enjoyed scouting every single day. I would come in the meetings, always late, maybe not even wearing my uniform, and sit down, slouched, hoping that no one would recognize me, and then remember I was supposed to be sitting up front because I was at SPL. What scouting meant to me was just knowledge. Like, you gotta stay with it. Like, you gotta think before you act. Knowledge is power, power is money, money's pizza. Scouting is great. There are certain men in my life that deserve special recognition, because if not for them, I definitely would not be an Eagle Scout. Mr. D. Hoff. Mr. D. Hoff, you were my mentor, because you kept things light and funny. From when you almost hit the person with the arrow at that one time. You made me want to be more adventurous. Made me realize that scouting is not just I stay in this one little area. I go outside and I have fun. You were always there. You were making things more interesting. You told me my first knots, and I still use them today. I'll never forget them. Next is Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, you are my mentor, because you've been by my side through all of my scouting years. Even during my purple hair years, you kept me in line. You kept me motivated and set me right on track. My success is my reflection of your ability to change boys into men. Cubs into Scouts, and Scouts into Eagles. Mr. Lee. And third is my dad. My dad, you are my mentor. I would have never come this far without you. You're always encouraging, being supportive, and illuminating my path to Eagle. I remember you told me mumbly peg when I first joined scouting. For those who don't know, it's where we get a knife and we throw it into the ground at each other's feet, and we have to do the splits of how far the knife went. And I would win most of the time because everyone would always aim for my feet. You got me excited about scouts. I remember there was campouts where we would bring bacon and we would just eat the entire 3 packs. And one campout where you brought 10 pounds of beans, but we wouldn't eat them, so I just had to carry the 10 pounds of beans with me. I remember the one campout when we were at Powhatan and you climbed a very small incline and you had to take 3 breaks to try to catch your breath. All these memories, Dad, I love you so much. Please know that you're in my heart of my hearts and you're all my heroes.